everyone. My name is James Gonzalez. This is James Laid Out, and my guest today is my Gracey, the legend, the owner of Show Offs.
How you doing, guys? Good. Happy to be here. Happy to be back.
Yeah, he is my second guest. You know, I just had a great talk with him, and I was like, you know what, I need to bring him back. You know what, he's been very influential, and I think he's been a positive role model for El Paso. You know, even on me. You know, he's where I started my bodybuilding. You know, he's giving me guidance. Mike has always been that person in the fitness community. You don't have to be his friend or anything, but you call him and you have a problem, and he's there. And I think that goes where I want to lead into my first topic is today. This month is men's mental health awareness, and I think, you know, we try to treat mental health with medicine, but we have to try other venues before we do medicine. There are some people that need medicine, but you know what? Sometimes a great thing like what Show Offs has done for the community, it's given men a place of safety to kind of work out their own problems, you know, and I'm grateful for Show Offs and all that stuff. And how have you seen the gym transition people into a better life?
Oh, I mean, I've seen a ton. You know, that's the biggest part for me is not just the physical aspect change or anything, but more of like the mental. You see their confidence go up. You see them, you know, happier. They're peppy when they come in. You know, stuff like that. Like I kind of told you the story before, but I had a guy come in. This was several years ago, but he came in, he probably weighed almost 550 pounds. Come and signed up for the gym. I never saw him again, right? Never saw him again, signed up. You know, my facility's 24 hours. So about 2 years later, guy comes up to me in the gym, and he's like, hey, you remember me? I'm like, bro, I think so. He's like, yeah, I came in and signed up. I was huge. I was a big boy. I was like, man, you look so good. It's like, you know, 5 o'clock in the afternoon during peak time. He's like, yeah, I signed up at your gym because it's 24 hours. I would come in at 2 a.m. with a hoodie on, and I would just walk on the treadmill. He's like, I could walk up, you know, I could walk at a 2 speed or 1 speed. That's all I could do. He's like, I would come in at 2 a.m. because I was so embarrassed to come in here with anybody else who's in here. And 2 years later, he's lost 200 plus pounds. He's confident. He's in there during peak hours, and that's like just to see that mental transition. I didn't see the whole process, but to see where I saw him at the beginning, you know, covered up, hoodie like that, and to come in like he's, you know, pepping in, happy to be there, great. I mean, just that's fixing things, you know. And I think it's just not only the gym. It's not even just physical changes. It's the mental changes that the gym gives you to push yourself through things. You know, you put yourself through adversity, you stress yourself, and you're able to grow from that thing, physically, mentally, spiritually, all that stuff.
And I think the gym is a place where you can kind of focus. And like me, I have ADHD, and I struggle with the internal. My mind just constantly just bouncing things around, and it's like it kind of in a way just gives me that peace, you know. And it helps me sleep better and all that stuff. And I think, you know, more healthcare professionals need to be like, you know what, you need to try the gym first before we're going to put you on this medication. You know, we don't sell health, we sell, you know, in the healthcare world, we're selling a pill.
Right.
You know, and it also goes on, you know, the consumer and everyone asking for something like, say, I don't want to take a pill, I want a lifestyle change. Right. Because that pill is going to make you gain weight, and it's going to have all these side effects, right, and it still may not work.
Right. I'm having difficulty breathing, I'm going to take this pill. Well, that pill is going to cause all these side effects, and all you really have to do, walk 5 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day, 20 minutes a day. You know, like that's you know, they treat symptoms in the healthcare facility, and they don't treat the person. They don't treat the whole total person. It's not a holistic thing where they treat everything. They're not training. Hey, what is your sleep like? How much exercise are you getting? What kind of food are you eating? You know, what's your diet? How's your mental health? How's everything going? So those things right there, they're just like, okay, cool. You're having a respiratory problem. Here's antibiotics. You're having this. Here's heart medication. Here's, you know, something to help you lose weight. Here's a shot to help you lose weight instead of actually going to the gym and dieting. You know what I mean? So.
And I think that's why the gym and like your, you know, coaches out there are more successful in getting people healthy than the actual healthcare community. It's like, you know, the coach is able to be like, you're going to see me every day. You know what? There's something off. They're going to be able to ask that question, and people like want that simple answer, but there is no simple answer to health. You know, it takes like constant like hammering them down, and then I think people get this advice from doctors, nurses, and like, my doctor said this, my doctor said that, and in a way that your doctor is right, but your doctor doesn't know the whole picture. And you know, if your doctor would have been there and watched you every day, then he could have been like, you know what, maybe we should change this, adjust this.
Yeah, and you're not giving the doctor the whole story either. You're not giving them, like, your trainer comes in, you're like, okay, what'd you eat yesterday? Well, I ate this and this and this. And like, well, you can't eat that. You know what I mean? Like, they're like, well, I ate a chicken sandwich from Whataburger. I thought it was good, but yeah, you got fries and a full Coke, and then you double you whatever the big size is, you know, or whatever. But So a trainer's gonna say, okay, now correct that, you know, or I didn't eat it all yesterday, right? Some people, I ate one meal yesterday. Okay, that's not good either, right? So the doctors don't hear that. They're gonna give a blanket statement because, you know, one, they're so busy, right? They're so busy treating disease, they're treating illnesses and injuries and stuff like that. They don't have time to sit there with each patient. I mean, you know, the healthier you are, the less time you get with somebody. So, with a doctor, because they're so busy with everybody else. They're so busy fighting, you know, heart disease, obesity, and stuff like that. So they're so busy with that stuff, they don't have time to learn that person and sit down with them for an hour like a trainer does and say, okay, make sure you eat vegetables tomorrow, you know, get your broccoli in.
Make sure you sleep.
Yeah.
Like you like you said, you have to go to your doctor every 6 months.
Yeah.
Like, how many minutes do you have?
I wait in the waiting room longer than I'm in with that doctor.
Yeah, and so it's like, and the doctor's like rushing through things. He's trying to find out your whole life story in 3 minutes, and so you're not. It's kind of unfair to put all this stuff on a doctor to get you healthy.
Right.
And you know, and then when you deal with anyone in the medical field, they give you this like cookie cutter diet, and like you said, you know, like that cookie cutter diet could be like, oh, you have chicken, but it doesn't say like how to cook the chicken or anything. So
Fried
it's like,
chicken,
yeah, and then it's like, well, you can make a chicken unhealthy, where you can make it unhealthy, and it's so basic.
Right.
You know, and you have no one to get that like feedback, like with a trainer and a coach. It's like you eat a chicken sandwich, that coach is gonna be like, no, I want your chicken cooked this way.
Right.
Whereas like the healthcare, like you said, you didn't want to. You went to school, you could have been a dietitian, but why did you not want to be a dietitian?
Well, once I started realizing what dietitians did, not that I'm knocking, I mean, I love the dietitians that I'm friends with and work with and stuff. I just never wanted to go into the healthcare route. But one, the income wasn't what I thought it was going to be for that much schooling and internship. And then two, I talked to some dietitians. Once you start doing the whole, you know, you start shadowing them and start doing your internship, you're like, okay, so there's like 3 of you for hundreds of people. They're like, yeah, well, how do you do that? Like, well, we don't. We get a person with cancer, we make a diet for them. Here's your diet, here's your diet, right? You know, we'll give them like, you know, whatever. We have a person that's pregnant, here's your diet for pregnancy. Here's your diet for high blood pressure. Here's your diet for this. And it's really just a sheet of paper. It's like, try to eat more fruits and vegetables. Try to eat more of this. Try to, you know, it's like do's and don'ts and not like, it's leaving too much interpretation. And they don't, same thing, there's only so few of them. They don't have the time to sit down with each patient for hours and coaching and, you know, and that's what you need to be coached, not just, you know, given a thing and walk off. You need to be coached into it. And that's why I think trainers and coaches do so well. They're actually coaching this person on life changes.
Yeah, and, you know, I've seen a couple dietitians come in the hospital and they just give that piece of paper and then they'll just ask like, are you constipated or are you eating?
Yeah.
And I was like, well, there's a lot more like that goes on.
Yeah.
Like how you like they don't teach them how to cook food, how to buy food. And I think one of the things like a lot of people struggle with is grocery shopping, because when you go grocery shopping, it's like almost a minefield of like you can't figure it out. It's like
end caps of cookies and
but it
stuff
says
like that.
this says low fat.
Yeah.
You know, this says this.
But it's low fat, it's high sugar. They have to get that flavor from somewhere. Or if it's low sugar, it's higher fat, higher processed, and artificial sugar. So.
And then the artificial sugars are just as dangerous.
Right.
Unless you have a chemistry, you almost need a chemistry degree
Yeah.
to really understand with nutrition. So it's just better just to try to go with less processed food, but the less processed foods are more expensive.
Right.
You know, but also on the flip side is like the processed food is going to keep you hungry, so you have to buy more food because you're going to be hungry every 2 to 3 hours.
Right.
And so it's like you either way you pay.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
So.
Or and then not you're paying later on with your health.
Yeah.
Like how much is a a heart attack? You know,
Yeah.
how much does that cost? You know, how much is diabetes medic? How much does insulin cost?
Oh,
If you're diabetic, you know what I mean? So like think about that. Like okay, cool. You're spending a little bit more right now every day to eat a little bit more, but in the long run, it's going to make you healthier. Where you don't have to go get seen and be treated and take medication. You know, in your early 30s and 40s, man.
Yeah.
I've got friends that are I've got friends at my age, man, are passing away from diseases that are preventable. Yeah, preventable.
You know, and I think like that's what's nice about like your gym and your coaches. Like they're out there helping people, and they're doing the stuff that the medical field should be doing. You know, and we were talking about
or working together at.
Yeah.
And they don't work together is the big thing. Is like doctors don't work with trainers. Doctors don't work with. There's no community of that. It's just like, hey, we're going to give you a pill and fix this injury or illness. We're going to treat this symptom.
Yeah.
And there's nobody there saying, hey, okay, I'm going to send you to this person because I trust them. Yeah. And, I work with several doctors here in town that, hey, let me help you send this guy, help you with your diet because this is what you're going to need. And most of them end up getting off their blood, their pre-diabetic medication, their blood pressure medication, stuff like that, just by exercise and diet.
Yeah, and I think it sucks because preventative medicine, there's no funding.
Yeah.
You know, when we were talking about like that is like, you know, you have to be dying and your insurance will cover, you know, your diabetes medication.
Heart transplant.
You know, but they won't cover, you know, $100 to go to the gym, or
Right.
$50 to go to the gym.
Or nutritionist, an actual one-on-one with a nutritionist for an hour.
Yeah.
Think how much you can learn in an hour if you had a one-on-one with a nutritionist for an hour.
Or availability is to call a nutritionist is like, is this healthy
Right.
for me?
And yeah, you have Google, you have all this stuff, but it can tell you anything, right?
Yeah, and I think when it goes to Google and all that stuff,
Yeah. Like, oh my God, I have this you know,
Yeah.
I have a headache. What's that mean? No, my arm's falling off, right?
Yeah.
Like, Google will tell you everything.
and then there's just so much marketing out there. Can we even trust Google to a point? Like there's so much ads, and
It's
you can,
paid, yeah.
you
The
know,
first 4 pages are paid.
Yeah.
Right. So.
So that's a huge thing. But I mean, we were talking earlier. I was like, you know what? We need to be the gym and your like the health community, like gym community, where fitness community. They are able to transition and do more research, and they're all more open-minded to health.
Right.
And when it comes to like medical system, we're not open-minded to health. We're kind of like closed-minded. And then, but then you have people that say, well, like that post, like, you know, that reply is like, you're not a doctor. Like, why should you be talking about it? It's like, well, not many people can talk to their doctor because their doctor doesn't understand PEDs and they don't understand these things. And, you know, like you said, about your school.
Yeah, I went to nutrition. I have a 5-year degree in nutrition. It's 180 hours of nutrition. I have a 5-year degree in nutrition and a minor in microbiology. I was in my intro to nutrition class, like the very first class of nutrition you take. We had 3 doctors in the class with me. 3 medical doctors in an intro to nutrition class. That's the only class they had to take for their research. And it was like an intro class. Like I went on to take 2.5 more years of nutrition courses, broken down by lifestyle, by life cycles, by, you know, whatever, diseases, you know, different special population groups and stuff like that. They took one intro to nutrition class, you know, and you know, and some of them do their own research, but a lot of times that's all they have to do. But now they gotta go learn medicine. Now they gotta learn all the medications. Is the biggest part of medicine is how many medications they gotta get, you know?
And I mean, I think doctors are great to save your life, and that's their point. But like when it comes to getting healthy, that's a different, you know, you know, the doctors specialize. Like you don't go to your nephrologist and say, oh, you know, there's something wrong with my head. It was like, you know, they're specialized,
Right.
You know, and a general practitioner isn't like, he's not gonna know as much on the kidney as a nephrologist.
Right.
And we have to realize, like, just because a doctor says this, yeah, they're right, but they're more of a general.
Right.
You know, and
there's so much more to it.
And general information, I think, is more dangerous.
Right.
You know, because everyone's a little different. Like the way I eat is not the way I eat is different than the way you eat, and like we all have different goals. Like the way you eat is different than what you would have a diet of a 80-year-old woman.
Yeah.
You know, or a 10-year-old
Right.
10-year-old boy. They're completely different diets, and if we're giving out these cookie cutter diets, we're gonna keep on getting into these same circles. Like the increased diabetes. Like diabetes is getting worse, heart disease is getting worse, nothing's getting better, and we have to start asking these questions where like we have to change, and we have to be open to change. And I think that's why, you know, the coaching and all this stuff, they have an open mind. And like even I bet you how many nurses and doctors go to you for advice.
Oh, I've coached tons of nurses and tons of doctors, like, you know, and stuff like that in the healthcare facility. Like I've got there, I've coached them for shows, I've coached them for losing weight, I've coached them for this, right there. And not that they don't know, it's just they don't know specifically that. They haven't done as much research into this as I have. Like I've literally studied, I've been a personal trainer for 24 years. You know, I'm a master fitness trainer for the year. I've done the research. I've been to the schools and the certifications and did all that stuff. So not that they don't know, like health, they just don't know as much research as I have or done specifically. This is what they're tailored to do, you know?
Yeah, and then you can do it easier, and just because something works doesn't mean it's the best way.
Right.
You
There's
know,
1,000 different ways.
yeah.
Everybody asks me, what's the diet? What's the best diet? The diet that you can stick to.
Yeah,
Right.
and like the way I eat is completely different than the way
Right.
you know, and then it goes on your work and your sleep patterns, and you know, and I think we can't have cookie cutter diets because like if you're constantly at a deficit, what's going to happen? You're going to shut down your metabolism. If you're constantly on a surplus, you're going to gain weight.
Yeah.
But I think there's times in the year you need to be on surplus, and there's times in the year you need to be at a deficit.
Well, it's the cycle of man. Like think about it in the winter. It's colder. You're going to burn more calories. You know, and then think about it like caveman days. During the winter, you would put on more calories for the winter and to save up because there was less food around.
Yeah.
Right. So naturally, you're going to put on more calories during the winter. During the summer, you're more active. As the heat's out, you're working more. The weight loss is going to be, so you don't need. So you should vary that calorie deficit depending on what your activity level is and what you're doing. If you're not going outside anymore because it's cold outside, then maybe you don't need as many calories. You know. But then when do we get the most calories? December,
Yeah.
right? Christmas comes along, we're eating from Thanksgiving till January, right? We're eating like every piece of chocolate and candy and snacks, and we have cookouts our dinners every day. But
And then that's also when like the increased depression happens, and you have that seasonal depression.
no vitamin D because there's
Yeah.
no sunlight, and you're eating like crap, and you're drinking a lot. So it's like all the things.
And then I mean, we have to see that correlation between metabolic health and mental health. There is a correlation. We can't, we can't just be like, oh, you know what, you need to like take this pill, you need to do this, you need to talk about your feelings. Like, well, maybe first start by going to the gym, eating right. Maybe that's all you need, like.
Get some sunshine. Get some
Yeah,
sunlight.
like sometimes it's the simple things
If
that.
you can't get sunlight, drink milk. Drink
Yeah,
milk.
or take a vitamin D.
supplement.
Take vitamin D. Go get your blood work done, but stop. Well, I mean, I guess that goes down to the pill. I was like, no pills.
Well, I mean, but supplementation, if you're not getting it in your diet, you should be able to get everything you need from diet alone. Like, you should not ever have to take a supplement unless you're like extreme, creatine because you're not eating enough red meat or something like that. That's fine. Like, but those things are like multivitamin. They're all separate vitamin D and a couple other ones. They're mostly water soluble. You're just going to pee them out if you're not going to use them anyway. But taking a multivitamin every day usually is not going to. Nobody's taking an excess of vitamin D. You know what I mean? Unless you're, it's hard to get a food with an excess of vitamin D. So, I think taking, not fixing a pill, but if you're not getting, the best way to get vitamin D is go out and get some sunlight. 10 to 20 minutes of sun a day is enough vitamin D to keep you going, right, with your food. But if it's winter outside, or if you're living in Seattle or Alaska or something and it's no sunshine, you need to get supplementation because you're not getting it. And that's where the blood work comes along. You can identify low vitamin D in blood work.
Yeah, and so like that's why it goes down. Blood work is really important, and there's so many different variables to health, and we have to be constantly. It's hard to be healthy.
It's a full-time job.
Yeah, and I
It's a
think,
full-time job.
but it's also hard to be unhealthy.
Yeah.
So either you can be unhealthy and you're gonna go to the doctor to get like your medicine, or you can be healthy and check in with your doctor and and maybe go to the gym, and you're still gonna spend the same amount of time. But a healthy individual is not going to have all these side effects.
And it's about quality of life too.
Yeah, and I think a lot of things is like, it is about quality of life. We don't think about quality of life. We're like, you know what? It's kind of like right now, and I think in El Paso, it's like you got to live your life, and donuts are okay.
Live your best life.
Yeah, live your life. It's like, oh, I'm living my life by having donuts. It's like, and then you look at the bigger pictures, like, if your life is you're getting happiness from eating donuts
and that's saying you can't ever have a donut, right? Like, just don't eat donuts every day. Like, just make it this is hey, you know what? I'm gonna have a pizza tonight. Pizza shouldn't be dinner for you and your family every night of the week. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like the way the things have changed over the years. Growing up, I'm old school, so we used to have family dinners, and it was cooked meal, and you had fresh cooked meats and vegetables. And you ate your vegetables before you ate your meats because you didn't eat your vegetables, you didn't get no food.
Yeah.
So that's changed now. Now it's fast food because everybody's busy. You got dual income households now just to live because everything's so high. So they have to get food on the way home. They're gonna pick up a pizza or order pizza. And so
you brought up that funny thing because you were like talking about your the cheese pizza guy.
Yeah.
And, I think there's that big push on plant-based diets and all that stuff. And plant-based diets can be very healthy, but they can also be very dangerous and they're very unhealthy. Like, how healthy was that guy that just had cheese pizza?
Right.
Like,
I mean, he was young and he was he was in the military with me, and he was like, hey, I'm vegan, but I can have the whatever the vegan that's lacto. I'm a lacto vegan, so I can have milk products, right? So he can eat cheese and stuff like that, and milk. So his dinner every night was a cheese pizza. Every night he would eat a cheese pizza, and he lived in the barracks, and he would come in there and he would get a cheese pizza every night. And that was his dinner every single night, and I was just like, that's not healthy. He's like, yeah, but I don't eat meat. I'm like, yeah, but it's not. You're eating cheese pizza every night. Like, it's not healthy.
Yeah, I think no coach out there would put that on a nutritional plan.
Right.
And I think like his performance, he wasn't the top performer in your, was he?
No, I mean, he was a great shape, but he was 21 years old. 22, and he's been doing it. And like, there's a lot more aspects to it, but like, I don't know what he's like now. 20 years later. So what's he like now if he's eating that same diet for 20 years?
Yeah.
Like, it's all cool when you're 21. We burn through stuff like crazy. You start getting your 40s and up there, like. It sits different, man. Food hits different after that.
Yeah, food is just it's a different beast, and I think and that's what's good about like we with the economy now, and like how like people are so expensive to eat right and all that stuff, but it's so expensive. Like people will spend $100 to go eat, but how much is a week's worth of food at your
Right. Well, so I mean, we have a meal program. You can eat 15 meals for a week for a little right at $100. And I mean, there's no cooking involved, there's no weighing, there's no washing dishes, there's no going grocery shopping. How much time and money does that save you? And you're eating 3 meals a day, 3 solid meals a day, just by that. And it's still affordable. Like, oh, it's too expensive. I'm like, okay, but you dropped $200 at the bar last night. And then, you know, either you're spending on this and this, and or you're eating, you know, how much candy did you buy, or how much, you know, you got Uber Eats to your house, and that's actually, you know, it's $90 to feed 2 people. You know what I mean? So you could have ate all week for that. Or I went to Chick-fil-A the other day, and I love Chick-fil-A, but it was $17 for a chicken sandwich.
Yeah, and you were hungry.
Yeah, I ate it. I was like, I could have had 3 of those, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, $17 for a chicken sandwich. So what I was trying to create when I first started Fit Fuel was I'm trying to create a healthy fast food. Like I want you to be able to stop in there for lunch or you grab something, so it's a healthy fast food option that's affordable for people to eat right, but still be, you know, all that stuff.